If you guys know me, you'll know I love custom clones, and decaling my own clone troopers is something I have wanted to do for a long time. Today is the day I finally give it a go and answer the question, is decaling really that hard, or is it an easy way to get custom clones? But firstly, I want to say a huge shout out and thank you to BlueHarvestBRICks. Not only is he an awesome YouTuber, but he's got a brand new store that he's just set up in the UK, selling all sorts of Shoutout decals and decal supplies, that sort of thing. And he has sent me a little package here to get me started, absolutely for free, so go check him out, he's a really cool guy. So firstly, let's have a look inside and see everything that he has sent me in this little starter pack. So first off, he sent me a pair of custom guns, 2 applicator sponges, 2 blank Lego helmets, and 2 blank Lego bodies. These are just regular Lego bodies that have been wiped of all printing, ready to be decaled. And then finally a pair of tweezers as well. Of course, then we also have the decals. So I'm going to unbox these and show you which decals he has sent me. So he has sent me a fox along with a waist cape for fox as well. This will probably be one of the later ones I do. This looks pretty tricky. So these are all Shoutout Toys decals, all in the 2020 style, I believe. Next up we have a dark grey Wolfpack trooper. This is just a regular sort of grunt Wolfpack trooper. Really excited to do this guy. Then we have my favourite clone of all, we have Kix. This guy's actually a realistic style decal, slightly different in the visor, the torso and the legs, more to match the episode 3 style of clones that we got in sort of like the Utapau battle pack, that sort of thing. Then last but most certainly not least, we have a 13th Battalion clone trooper, again in the 2020 style. This is based off of the Jedi Fallen Order video game. He also included some arm decals from Thicky Bricky. These I probably won't be using in this video, but we have a 501st one and a Wolfpack one. I also then picked up a knife to cut out the decals and also some sealant as well. Both of these were found on Amazon, as well as that mat I'm using to sort of cut the decals on, that sort of thing. But that's enough talking about supplies, let's get into some decaling. So the first clone trooper I'm going to be decaling is the 13th Battalion clone trooper. You can see here I'm just cutting out the decals, starting with just the front and the back of the torsos, because I know this is the easiest part. Next up I disassembled the minifigure, taking the legs off and that sort of thing, getting it ready for the decaling process. Then I submerged the decals into water for a second, applying the torso first and then following up the back piece. Obviously I'm no expert to decaling, this is my first ever figure, so this is not going to be a tutorial or anything like that. However, I'm just going to be going through the decal process and telling you guys what it's really like decaling as a sort of very beginner. But then I finished up the front and the back of the torso, so there's a better look at how it looks. I'm pretty happy with the way I got these on. Obviously this is probably the easiest part from what I've heard, but let's get on with the legs and the helmet and that sort of thing. Next up you can see I'm cutting out the remaining pieces of the decals. If you didn't know, they come on a big sheet that I showed you earlier. Then you cut them out individually depending on the placement where they're going to go. But yeah, there you can see I've cut out the legs and the helmet. I'll show you now what they look like when they are cut out. But then next up I'm going to be doing the legs first, so of course I submerged them in the water and then started applying them to the little leg pieces. This was a bit more fiddly than the torso, obviously, because the leg is lots of different shapes, but again went on pretty easily, a lot easier than I probably thought it would have done. The most difficult part probably being lining up the sort of toes and making sure everything was in the right place. Obviously these 2020 style designs have the toe printing now, so that made it a little bit more awkward, but I think it came out quite nicely, and there's a look at the finished legs. So then finally I moved on to the helmet. This is probably the hardest part, obviously, because there's a lot of different angles and stuff and it's really hard to line everything up. Of course with the cheek printing you got to get it into the little cheek grooves, that sort of thing, so it all came in a few different pieces. So I started off with the visor, then I did these shoe lines or the stripes that go on the helmet, followed by the sort of arrow on the bottom of the chin, and then the rebreather piece. The arrow was probably the most fiddly piece because it's quite coverage, it's got quite a lot of coverage and it covers a lot of yellow all across the bottom of the chin. Then the rebreathers just go on the bottom where the ones from the actual Lego helmet would have been. And then there you go, that is all the pieces completely done for the first figure. Obviously on there on my little stand, ready to be sealed, but I have the pieces lined up next to it to start the second figure, so I'm going to quickly do that. I'm going to go through a bit quicker this time, show you that one completely done, and then I will move on and give you a sort of overview of how easy the process was and what I thought of the entire thing. I next up chose to do the Wolfpack trooper. Obviously I showed you a bit of the decal sheet earlier, but I obviously started again with cutting out the decals. This was mainly the same process as before, but there were less pieces for the helmet as I'm showing there on screen. This is all the pieces cut out. Obviously it varies slightly clone by clone depending on the style of armor that they have. But yeah, then I applied all of the decals again, starting with the torso, then I moved on to the helmet, and finally the legs. Did it in a bit of a weird order this time, don't really know why, it doesn't really matter which order you go for. So then there are the pieces of both the figures completely completely done on my stand, ready to be taken outside and sprayed with the sealant that I showed earlier. I didn't actually get any footage of the sealant process, obviously, because I had to be outside and it was quite wet and rainy. Don't worry, the figures didn't get wet though, but yeah, there they are all on my windowsill, sort of being aired out, because it did get quite smelly once I did the sealant. It sort of was quite a chemically smell, so I would definitely recommend putting them sort of anywhere with good ventilation to let them dry for a while. I let them rest for a few hours and came back. This is how they looked after probably like 2 or 3 hours, but then I left them for a few more hours just to make sure they were fully done before I assembled them, obviously because I didn't want to rip or tear any of the decals. These legs have been carved and stuff, so it should be fine, but I thought it would better to be safe than sorry. And then the moment you guys have all been waiting for, here is the finished figures. So let me know how you think I did with these guys in the comment section down below. I'm really happy with the way they turned out, and I'm really addicted already. I can't wait to get more decals and more supplies. I've actually got a ton of stuff on the way, as well as a load of other decal sheets from Blue Harvest Bricks, so definitely go check out Blue Harvest if you haven't already. And let me know if you want to see some more decal related videos or content from me in the future. So now it's time to answer the question that I asked at the start of the video. How hard really are decals? Can anyone do them? And what do I think of the process? How easy are they, and are they a good way to build up your clone army? And I would without a doubt say yes. I have really enjoyed the process so far, and Shoutout Toys decals are certainly a good place to start. I know a lot of AV decals, that sort of thing, can be a lot more complicated, so I definitely recommend starting here if you want an easy way into the decaling community. I would say I struggled a little bit with the cutting out process at the start. It was quite fiddly, and it's obviously quite hard to do for the first time, but I think I got the hang of it by the end. Other than that, probably the helmets were the hardest part of the whole process, but overall I'd say it's a pretty easy thing to do, and definitely something a lot of people can do. If you're thinking about doing it, I would 100% recommend it. Obviously both of these designs are based on the 2020 style of Clone Trooper, so here they are compared with the brand new 501st Trooper, just so you can get a bit of a glimpse into how they look in comparison. So I watched a ton of great tutorials and videos that really helped me get into decaling and learn how to do it. Obviously I didn't start off knowing how to do it. I obviously watched a ton of videos and got some advice from a ton of really great people, so I'll leave links to a load of videos that I watched in the description down below, as well as leave links to a couple people that I talk to and message on a daily basis about how to decal, that sort of thing. Some of my friends that are really good at it, so I'll leave links to their Instagrams, and shout out to people like Brick Freak, Blue Harvest and Brick Productions. All of them are really good decalers that I know really well, and I have talked to about the process. Make sure to let me know down in the comment section down below which one you think I did better out of the 13th Battalion Clone Trooper and the Wolfpack Trooper. Personally, I'm really happy with the way both of them turned out, and I cannot wait to do more. I've definitely got more 13th Battalion on the way. I want to get at least 6 of these, maybe even more, I don't know. I definitely want to get a lot of these in the future. I also have Sinker, Boost and Comet coming up to go with that Wolfpack Trooper, of course. I think I did the Wolfpack Trooper slightly better than they did the 13th Battalion one, purely because there was one spot on the 13th Battalion that was really hard to line up. There's like a slight gap, I don't know if I'll be able to show it very well, but between the rebreather and the sort of chin piece, I think I left sort of a slight white gap, which I might have to sort of like, I don't know, try and go over with something, maybe a Sharpie or something like that, just to sort of finish off that tiny little gap there. But that was a really hard part, but other than that, I think they both turned out pretty cleanly, and I'm really happy, and I can't wait to do more. Once again, if you're looking to buy decals and you live in the UK, there is an awesome new site up by Blue Harvest Bricks. I would 100% check it out. It's blueharvestbricks.com. Really easy to find. There'll be top link in the description down below. Once again, thank you so much to him for sending me these decals. He really has got me addicted, and he has definitely got a long-term customer in me. But you guys should definitely check it out. If you are in the US or anything like that, check out Shoutout Toys and AV Figures. Those are the best places to find your decals and decal supplies. And of course, let me know in the comment section down below if you have any feedback. Also, have you guys ever decaled before? If so, how did you find the process, and do you think I should upgrade to AV decals in the future? I know they're a lot harder, but I definitely want to do that one day. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments, and as always, if you did enjoy today's video, leave a like and subscribe if you're new, and hit that bell notification so you don't miss out on any of my future uploads. But thank you guys for watching, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.